everyone, and welcome back to Brown Coat Reviews. I'm your host, Laura. This is my favorite co-host, Scott, and this is the invader. This is...
Not an invader. He's a foster. This is Armani. Hello.
Who has decided that apparently he needs to be a part of this video.
Guest appearance.
I'm sorry. So apparently we're going to talk about our pull list with a bit of an audience.
Oh. And he's done.
Whew. Okay. Now... before we get started with all the excitement, the most important thing is we are having a 500 subscriber giveaway. So that means that in order to qualify for it, we have 2 giveaways because we are awesome. Can't help it.
And so modest.
Very modest. First giveaway is for all subscribers, so please make sure to subscribe to the channel to at least qualify for that one. Second giveaway is going to be for the people who are commenting on participating in our community. You get to have something special for being so amazing and helping us build and basically get you better videos in the end. So please make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. We'll be talking to you down in the comments section. And the other thing I was going to say...
While she thinks of that, I do want to give a quick shout out to our guest appearance, Armani. He is a foster. My wife and I foster greyhounds.
Yes.
It's one of our other things that we do with our time and energy besides comics. And his new forever family is going to be meeting him tomorrow. So
that was the last appearance you will get from Armani.
His first and last. It was like a very limited edition run. But he may make other appearances if he comes back to stay with us as a guest at some point in the future. But congratulations to Armani on his gotcha day tomorrow. A little preemptive.
Yes, and we have other shout-outs and all sorts of fun stuff at the end of the pull list video. Yep. So, I'm sorry. You just got to tune in to the end.
So, away we go.
Now, my list first. So excited for this. So this is Geiger number 2. If you haven't watched my video, because you're just missing out, I do have a video reviewing Geiger number 1. The series definitely impressed me, and it set up a lot of really, really great ideas. So I have been dying for issue number 2. I grabbed the A cover, and I can't wait to see how this story kind of unfolds. I did get the badideacomics issue. So this is, it's Hank Howard, Pizza Detective. And this is incredibly special because not only is it a one-shot series, it is also a 24-hour only release. So basically, if it did not sell in your comic book shop today, it is no longer available. All comic book shops that sell Bad Idea Comics must return all unsold copies as of midnight tonight. Or at least start packing them up. Refuse to sell as of midnight.
Yeah, off the shelf. So we have a copy.
Hooray, hurrah. And
cool.
I will be reading and reviewing it very, very soon. The Joker. This is issue number 3. 1, I love this cover, but 2, I love the James Tynion run of the Joker. It has impressed me to no end, and the one thing I will say is there was a fantastic twist at the end of issue number 2 that got me ridiculously excited, so now I've been like on edge dying for issue number 3. So needless to say, it has not disappointed. If you have copies that are sitting in your pull box that eventually you're going to get to, grab it, read it. So far, it is amazing. And this was actually a Scott grab for me because he's awesome. So this is the Silver Coin. So this is issues number 1 and issue number 2. I hadn't actually heard of this series. So this is written by 4 different artists. Or not artists, by 4 different authors. So you have Chip Zdarsky, Kelly Thompson, Ed Brizon, and Jeff Lemire. So all 4 of them are collaborating on this horror series that is based in like 1978, where this rock band is not doing very well. They find the silver coin, they suddenly get the wealth and riches, but the silver coin comes with a price. Apparently we're just going to have a Greyhound show today.
Guest appearance number 2.
Let's see if we get more. So I'm really, really curious. The
storyline follows the coin, though.
Exactly.
Basically, as it moves around.
So I'm really curious. I can't wait to read it. Some amazing writers and...
Oh, darn. By Image Comics.
Yes.
Which has turned into one of our favorite indie, I guess you could say, publishers.
Oh, gosh.
Right?
Yeah. I love them all. So that's the end of the Laura pile.
All right, so on to Scott's pile. Scott has issue number 2 of this Green Lantern series that Dan at my local comic book shop, Ultimate Comics Raleigh, recommended issue 1 of this as a kind of good jumping in point. Basically, when I approached him and said, hey, I'm not really sure why. I'm not a Green Lantern fan, but I just never have read the book. And he suggested I start with that. So, still holding off judgment. Still not saying I'm a fan, but I'm definitely not an anti-fan.
Yeah, totally.
Amazing Spider-Man. So this is the wrap-up of King's Ransom. It's a bit of a weird thing because they did a standalone, giant size Amazing Spider-Man issue 1, as opposed to just finishing off in the regular run. As to why, if you followed his social media, you probably saw him making some snarky comments about it. Beats me. I don't know. Maybe that's just Marvel. Fantastic Four. This is issue 32, but obviously Peach Momoko cover. So I have honestly not got a lot of the rest of this series. I grabbed some books, as I've told you before, based on the artwork on the cover, or the artist, or the writer. That one is for the artwork, as is this one. So this is Wonder Woman 772, and I looked it up beforehand so I could be all smart, and I already forgot. Variant cover by Joshua Middleton. Love that cover. Loving Wonder Woman right now too, the new run, but that cover especially. Guilty Pleasure, Silk, number 3. Yes, it's the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt meets a superhero, but I like it. It's light, kind of, not so
like
heavy and dark.
Pleasure.
Yes. Speaking of which, leads me to my last one. Batman and Scooby-Doo. So, as you all know from other videos I've done, Scooby's one of my guilty pleasures. Batman's one of my favorite characters. Put the two of them together, I'm in.
And I'm actually going to make him go through our us pile because my next pile is a little bit bigger.
You're not even going to ask nicely?
Please.
Okay. So we have Batman Urban Legends number 3. This variant cover that I picked up with Red Hood on it. Really digging that. And I don't know, comment below. Anybody else really digging the Urban Legends series? Or am I kind of the odd man out on that? I'm liking it a lot. Then also got this. It's a special for DC featuring their Asian American superheroes. Really like the idea of it. Like the artwork on this one as well. And grab that partly because of that and partly because we've been doing a lot of the one-shot like special editions lately.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. It's nice to have like a concise all-in-one thing.
Yeah, it is nice to kind of have a beginning and end of the story instead of having to continue on for, another 10 issues. But we'll see. So
that was our pull list.
Our pull list for the week. Many of you remember once upon a time, Scott went over to Ollie's down in Florida. We did a video. We were both kind of talking while you see sort of the images of him going into the shop and picking titles. And we had mystery bags and we had the whole kit and caboodle and we kind of did Ollie's. So Scott went back to go see family, and it was Mother's Day. And I am a mother of greyhounds, as you can tell.
Yes.
God.
Mother of dragons, mother of greyhounds.
Mother of greyhounds. So Scott was like, there's an Ollie's right around the corner, and our family member who lives close to that Ollie's is moving in like another week. So we will no longer have easy access to this amazing Ollies anymore. And Scott's like, well, do you want me to just like shoot a video there or grab you some titles? And I was a little selfish, so I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't have him record a video for you. Instead, I did a video chat with him. And I was like, hey, I want you to hold up the camera and I want to pick my titles without ever actually being there. So
yeah.
I loved it. I'm sure you were just like, really? Go through another shelf?
Happy
another
Mother's
pile?
Day. No, that's fine.
So I was trying to kind of see what was available and then kind of go from there. So we did grab one item for our mystery, our subscriber giveaway.
Yes.
So we do have one item that was grabbed from an Ollie's. It's a good title. And I got kind of a conglomeration. So this is Suicide Squad Most Wanted Deadshot. I grabbed it because Deadshot is one of those characters that I know that much about. And I'm a little curious to kind of delve a little bit more into his character. It's Suicide Squad, always a good start. It should be a good run of Suicide Squad. So I was like, let's give it a shot. And for what, like $4? I'm like, what the heck do I have to lose? Guilty pleasures. Technically we have these, but we have not actually read them yet.
No, I'm kind of saving them. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we've talked about with Firefly, we are also Nathan Fillion fans. So we've kind of followed him from Firefly to Castle and then now to The Rookie. So Castle, what they did is, you know, the storyline for the TV series Castle was that he was a writer and was writing all these, you know, Deadly Storm and the Storm series books based off of what he was witnessing in the TV series. So they created that Storm book, and you can get the actual physical book or you can get the comic book. So we have the first two, and Scott found the third one. So this was one I was like, all right, I gotta. So I don't know if it's any good. It's the calm before the storm. I don't know, but I'm like, you know what? If
St. Basil's Cathedral on the front, can't be bad.
Yeah. I'm like, if all it does is
KGB.
kind of send us down that rabbit trail in memory of enjoying all those episodes of Castle, then I'm like, then it'll be worth it. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, but this was definitely guilty pleasure. These were sort of my miscellaneous. So both of these are Brian Michael Bendis titles, which I'm like, you can't lose. So it is Guardians of the Galaxy, All New X-Men, The Trial of Jean Grey. The thing I found really, really interesting about this particular title. So what is happening in this storyline is that, you know, obviously Jean Grey becomes Phoenix. In essence, she's on trial for all the horrible things that the Phoenix has done through Jean Grey's body. Like, that's a really interesting concept. Add a great writer, throw in some awesome characters. I'm like, this is going to be cool. So, was very excited for that one. And this is X-Men Battle of the Atom. And like I said, it was just another X-Men series, Brian Michael Bendis. I'm like, I'm in. No problem. And as Scott was in there, he saw this one and was like, oh, no, I'm shopping for you. I shouldn't. I'm like, yes, you should. And he's like, but we have Ollies around our area. Maybe they'll have it available. I'm like, and we've gone through the Artwork of Jock book that it's not always available at every single location. This was the last book that was on the shelf at this particular location.
It was.
And I didn't want to promise that, okay, we're going to skip this and hope that it's going to be at one of the closer locations. So Scott got a title too.
So I got a Pinups Past and Present, kind of the history of, introduction by Natalie Ratner. This is something that I have been a fan of, that type of art, for a very long time. That era in general. The actresses from that time period, the hairstyles, the clothing, the music even. Part of it's from being raised by a different generation, my grandparents. I'm going to be doing a video at some point on one of my all-time favorite comic runs that kind of ties into all this, which is the DC Bombshells run. And in that, I'll go into more detail about why I like it and my background and how it came to be.
Yeah.
But in short, I thought this is in the coffee table book section. And I'm like, man, there's some stuff in here that's really cool that you're just not going to get. And there's some artists in here that were mentioned that I was familiar with, some I was not. And I was very interested in trying to kind of get an idea of this version of the history. So there's a really cool one of Marilyn. Right, Marilyn Monroe. This is Marlene Dietrich and Betty Davis, and even in black and white, pretty stunning, I think. So
she's got Betty Davis eyes. Sorry,
yeah, that was my guilty pleasure from the Ollie run this time.
So shout outs and questions.
Yes.
Big thing I wanted to at least announce. So I did a video about Chew, the book, and I talked about DIY Danny. Chew, not a chew.
Oh, oi!
So, in that video, I was talking about how DIY Danny had mentioned it in her video, and I went ahead and I tagged her on it, and I was just like, hey, what's the worst that could happen? Maybe DIY Danny is going to check out one of my videos.
Would be very cool. We like DIY Danny.
Yes. And she actually responded on Instagram. So, if you are not following me on Instagram, I am doing wonderful things, I'm sure, but lots of humility. Very, very humble. But she did respond on Instagram, so I try and kind of put some different things on Instagram than what I discuss here in the YouTube videos, just so that way it's a little bit different.
Not the same info over and over again.
Exactly, because like, it can get repetitive seeing the same screenshots. So definitely check it out. And basically what DIY Danny was saying was how awesome Shoe is. So second thing that I was like super duper excited, I had to give a shout out to our 3 gentlemen, which would be Doug, Martin, and Robert. Now, in my Whalesville Rocks and Minerals video, you know, we were all kind of talking in the comments about how it's definitely a title that's meant for kids. And I can't wait. Kevin, he has a 5-year-old child that he's going to be reading this story to. So I really can't wait to hear how your 5-year-old liked it as opposed to me, who I am not 5 years old. So one of the things that happened in the comments section is as kind of Doug was responding, one of the other gentlemen kind of asked a question. And normally I try and get back to you guys pretty quickly, but sometimes all I have a chance to do is sort of like the comment and then I'll get back and actually type something a little bit later. Well, someone had asked a question about Enoch because they had seen it in the background and they asked, you know, what is Enoch and where is it available? They put in the comments the question for kind of me or for anyone in general, and everyone in the group started responding, answering, and we kind of had a back and forth amazing conversation about what is Enoch, where is it available, how's the series. It was a great kind of conversation where I didn't feel like I needed to kind of be a mother hen and make sure that everything's doing what it's supposed to. It was just a bunch of amazing comic book people who came together and helped each other out. So I can't thank you guys enough for doing that. Last one.
So we did get a question from Dave, who asked, do you have a limit on how many titles you'll keep up with month after month? Limit.
Do we believe in limits?
A time limit on how many I want to be able to read versus how many I actually can read? Absolutely. A limit on the ones that I would buy? I'll be honest. So if there's a particular run or a new thing coming out or a new storyline or a plot twist, or one of my favorite artists says, hey, we're going to be doing the next 6 covers of, I am all about going ahead and grabbing it at the beginning for 2 reasons. Number 1, I never have done that and then look back in 6 months and go, gee, I wish I didn't have that. But I have said, no, I'll wait because I have so many at home I need to read before I get something new, and then turn around in 6 months and been, hey, I'd like to get that, and not been able to find it, not been able to afford it, or for other reasons just missed out. So I do think I would go ahead and get whatever it is, regardless of what else I may have sitting at home waiting to be read, what else I may have on my regular pull box list, whatever else we've got going on.
Yeah.
That being said, I do have my limit when it comes to some things like, you know, we recently had the sale, and it would have been a great opportunity for me to go raid some back issues. I have a certain set of back issues I am planning on getting in the very near future. I did not go to do it at that time, mostly because I looked at my pull list. I looked at things that I have set aside that I know I want to be caught up on in a certain amount of time. Whether it's for videos we're doing or whatever reason. Also, we kind of did the seasonal thing, to be honest. So, like, you know, Halloween stuff, we do a different set of books, Christmas or New Year maybe. But, you know, there's certain things that it's getting ready to be summer. So I'm in that kind of frame of mind. And I did not go back and get those because I knew I had other stuff that, due to the season, due to the time of year, and due to our own requirements for this channel and other things, I needed to be doing and reading instead, so I left it. So I don't impose a number limit. I try and use the better judgment.
For me, I have a number kind of in my head of a budget, what I want to stay within. And the big challenge that I'm running into right now is looking at the single issues versus the trade and the omnibus, the hardcover, the deluxe edition, the special edition of the deluxe edition. There are so many different versions that are available. It does get a little ridiculous, and it does feel somewhat overwhelming, especially if you can find volume 2 and 3, but you can't find volume 1 of a trade or a hardcover, or that's of course the one that sells out. That's always been my luck. So what I try and do is if I know I'm going to be spending, X amount on the pull list, because there are certain titles that, like, I mean, just Geiger, Joker, there are certain ones that even just arrived today that I was like, I knew that they were coming. Lock and Key Sandman, and I've known for months, and I have been dying for them to arrive, and it was kind of like an understood, whatever's happening with my little monthly budget, those titles will make a space. But that's also why sometimes I will have the chopping block issues where I will grab one or two, and to me, I'm like, well, if you're paying $3 to $4 for the comic, and I only grab, two of them, as opposed to paying $20 to $30 for the trade, I find out early on if I even like the title. Then I've kind of saved myself a little bit of time, money, energy. And then, of course, I get a chance to talk to you all about the story and maybe give you some guidance of whether I recommend grabbing the trade. Because there are so many different storylines that are available, I try and kind of be a little bit more discerning. But I will say with the back issues, I'm having the same issue that Scott is, where I'm like, okay, I could spend $30 on a series that I'm only meh about, or I can spend $30 and I can get a deluxe edition of Criminal, Ed Brubaker. And I'm like, I'm going to go get Ed Brubaker. So that's always been kind of my challenge. But the number of titles that I'm reading at one time, there has been no limit, but most of the time I'll wait 3 or 4 issues to kind of pass, catch up on all of those, and then I'll jump to the next series, do a run, and do that. That's definitely what I do the most often.
So let us know. Do you have a limit? Are you budget limits, number of titles limits, or do you limit yourself to like one publisher or one fandom? Like, are you strictly an Avengers person? Are you strictly a Justice League person? Do you only do Batman? I have a feeling most of us have multiple things that we like, but when it comes to like month to month, I'm reading it every single month, every new issue that comes out. Maybe you do have certain ones that you're just like, nope, I only buy those new. I wait for everything else for trade shows or sales or whatever else. Let us know down below.
The big question for you guys is, do you prefer the single issues? Do you prefer the trade paperbacks? Do you want the hardcovers? Do you wait for those deluxe editions? Or are you 100% you want the omnibuses? Which one do you prefer? And as always, this is Laura Scott, and Armani is now asleep. We will see you all again very soon. Have a great day.